Hello, my dear friends. My name is Omer Livarchin, and as some of you know, I work with nonprofit organizations. I do research, and I'm a consultant also. I try to help them in three main areas: strategic planning, strategic evaluation planning and implementation, risk management, and finally, funding diversification. And funding is one of the biggest challenges for almost all of the nonprofit organizations, no matter in what field they operate or what their size is and what resources they have, what capacity they have. Funding is probably the number one issue in the nonprofit sector. So today I'm going to introduce a very simple 5 I's framework or a model to manage your funding structure in your nonprofit organization. It can also be used for funding diversification or building a resilient, diversified funding structure in your nonprofit. So let me quickly jump to the 5 I's of funding. All of them start with I, and they are inspect, identify, invest, insist, and include. And let me briefly explain what I mean by this. So the first step is inspect, exploring what funding opportunities there are, right? So you cannot access to funding by sitting in your office or checking your emails. You have to be interactive, you have to be proactive, and you have to explore, inspect your environment. And you will focus on grant opportunities, either government grants or public sector grants, any kind of grant. You need to explore them. And corporate sponsors, individual donors, what are the trends? What is the right season? When is the right season for fundraising, fund development? And you always need to open your eyes and ears for funding opportunities in your environment. And the second one is identify. Okay, so no single nonprofit organization has the capacity to focus on all funding opportunities at the same time. So you need to prioritize, but to be able to prioritize, you need to identify what funding options you have. Okay, you have to name it, you have to address it, and you have to manage it. And the third step is invest. Okay, so just because you have lemon doesn't necessarily mean you will have a lemonade, right? So that just because you have a nonprofit organization in an amazing country and you are surrounded with funding opportunities does not necessarily mean that you will have access to the funding. If you want to get government grants, you need to invest, you need to allocate a person or your own time to apply to the grants. If you are looking for corporate sponsors, you have to invest in marketing, you have to invest in networking and communicating with your future potential corporate sponsors. So without investment, it can be money, it can be effort, it can be your time, but without investment, funding is really difficult. So the next one is insist. So please keep in mind that fund development or funding diversification efforts are long-term journeys. If you are lucky, you can get some quick results, but if you are looking for sustainable long-term results, you have to be patient and you have to be persistent. Okay, so you need to keep working hard, you have to work in a structured way, you have to work smart, but you definitely need to insist, because funding diversification and fund development are not sprints. They are more like a marathon. And the next one is include. So I know that many nonprofit organizations have access to diverse funding opportunities, but it's a big challenge to make those funds part of their financial structure. So you have to find a way to use every single tool as a component in your organization. So develop a resilient funding structure. So thank you for listening to me today. I hope this was useful. Of course, it's just a brief of what fund development looks like, but if you keep those 5 I's in your mind, it will help you to develop a structured fund development and funding diversification structure. Have a nice day.